He was a perfect student. He was quiet and polite, acing every test and living a simple life. Everyone respected him deeply. His life was going smoothly until a new boy, Sayu-chan, arrived at school. The teacher introduced him to the class. He was the national high school boxing champion. The entire class was shocked. But Sayu-chan's face turned pale as if he had seen a ghost. As soon as the teacher left, he began to assert his dominance. He started beating some of the stronger students to spread fear in the class. Then his eyes landed on Sayu-chan. The class president stepped in and tried to stop him, but he slapped her hard and pushed her aside. Sayu-chan begged with folded hands, asking him to stop, but the beating did not stop. In fact, he had been a cruel bully in middle school. That was why Sayu-chan was so terrified of him. He fell to the ground. Slowly, his eyes began to close. At that moment, he noticed a pen lying nearby. Without thinking, he reached for it. A spark appeared in his eyes. Seo was still smiling and said, "Come on, hit me if you dare." That moment became the final breaking point. Years of fear, anger, and humiliation exploded at once. He drove the pen straight into Seo-chan's eye. The entire class froze in shock. Seo-chan fell to the ground, screaming and clutching his eye. The injury was so severe that his eye was permanently damaged. Since this was not considered self-defense, he was sentenced to 3 years in juvenile detention. His mother broke down in tears. A bright student's future was destroyed in an instant, like a bubble bursting. He was taken to the detention center on a bus. At the back sat a man everyone avoided. His seat had already been taken by a stylish blonde boy, so he was forced to sit next to the frightening man. When the man looked at him, he trembled with fear. Upon arrival at the detention center, all belongings were taken, and they were given prison uniforms. The blonde boy from the bus, named Ol, tried to befriend him. He asked, "What are you in for?" He replied softly, "Attempted murder." Hearing this, Ol panicked and said, "Sorry, brother, I only took your seat as a joke. My case is somewhat similar." But later, it was revealed that Ol was just a petty thief. There were 2 experienced inmates in the detention center. Both had short haircuts and explained the rules. The strongest rules everything. Those who cannot fight should stay quiet and avoid attention. On one side was the leader, Sang-hab, a national judo champion with incredible skills. On the other side was Won-jun, a large and intimidating man who scared everyone with his presence. Then there was San-yong, the leader of the desert crew. He looked thin but could break a skull with a single kick. This detention center was a small reflection of the real world. It was like a jungle where everyone was fighting for power. Recently, Won-jun and San-yong, both top figures, made a fool of everyone. They staged a fake fight and claimed that Sang-hab, their rival, had stolen their cigarettes and attacked them. Because of this, Sang-hab was sent to solitary confinement. Now Won-jun and San-yong were moving freely, but there was one boy who did not belong to any group, and even the strongest feared him. His name was Duhan. He was the same dangerous man who had sat next to him on the bus. Duhan was not an ordinary prisoner. He was a Korean martial arts legend and had become the youngest MMI world champion. One day, after winning a gold medal, he left the ring and called his mother and sister. He happily said, "Party tonight," but when he returned home and opened the door, his world shattered. There was a birthday cake on the table, but blood was spread everywhere. Duhan searched the house and found his mother and sister lying lifeless, covered in blood. His sister's final voice still echoed in his ears. Suddenly, someone attacked from behind and tried to strangle him, but they had chosen the wrong target. Duhan flipped the attacker and broke his leg instantly. Seeing his mother's condition, his anger exploded. He crushed the second attacker's face without hesitation. A third attacker rushed in with a knife, but Duhan killed him as well. All 3 attackers died on the spot. Because of this, a case of intentional murder was filed against him. Back in the present, a football game was being played in the detention center. It quickly turned into a violent fight. 2 players were badly injured. Won-jun and Ol were brought in as replacements. After a while, during the chaos, the ball rolled near Won-jun. He accidentally struck someone directly in the crotch. Now he was in serious trouble. The opposing group grabbed him and dragged him into a corner. Old memories of violence and fear rushed back into his mind. Just then, he saw a familiar face. Duhan came running toward him. Like a drowning man, he begged for help. "Please help me," he said with desperate eyes. Duhan told the others to calm down and step back. An angry Won-jun shouted, "Don't act like a hero! You're a murderer too!" He charged at him in rage. Duhan easily dodged the attack and stepped back with control. Then he delivered a powerful punch. The second punch knocked Won-jun unconscious. Everyone watched in shock, as if a superhero had stepped into real life. But reality is not a movie. From that day on, Won-jun added him to his hit list. Meanwhile, Ol warned him quietly. He shook his head and said, "Apologize to him or you'll get into trouble." A few days later, a visitor came to meet him. His right eye was permanently blind. His studies had stopped. His boxing career was finished. He said, "I would rather die." He apologized, but Sayu-chan's eyes remained cold. "When you get out," he said angrily, "I will make your life a living hell." Boo's tearful pleas had no effect on him. He turned away without saying a word. Now, even inside the prison, he was troubled, while his enemy waited for him outside. He was filled with anxiety. He could not sleep. There was an unspoken rule in the prison. Every prisoner had to give a packet of milk each day to the most powerful man. As a sign of loyalty, loyalty, all gave the milk to Duhan, but when Duhan asked if something was wrong, all could not say anything. The next day he brought milk again, but Duhan refused. "Don't bring it again," he said. Gathering his courage, all followed him and said, "Teach me how to fight. I want to be as strong as you." Duhan refused immediately, thinking he wanted revenge, but all said, "I just want to live in peace. Earlier I only tried to hide because I was always beaten. I didn't know how to do anything. I thought I was weak and useless. I felt like I was born worthless, but now I don't want to run anymore." His sincere words touched Duhan. "I will teach you, but on one condition," he said. "Run 100 rounds in 40 minutes. Only then will your training begin." All, who was physically weak and used to studying, started struggling after just a few rounds. His breathing became heavy. His vision blurred and his legs began to shake. By the 50th round, he was completely exhausted. Using painful memories as fuel, he pushed himself to reach 70 rounds. Then he collapsed. He vomited and nearly gave up. At that moment, a horrifying memory returned. When he once refused to obey, Suchin humiliated him by forcing him to urinate in front of him and then made him lick it. With that memory burning inside him, he stood up again. 40 minutes had already passed, but his anger and pain kept him moving. Finally, he completed the last round and collapsed into Duhan's arms. Because of Duhan's connection with the warden, he was moved into Duhan's cell. Now, Duhan tested his physical strength. His condition was poor. He could only do 21 push-ups, 32 sit-ups, and 0 pull-ups. Duhan said, "From tomorrow, you must add one more repetition every day. Otherwise, you will be sent back to your old cell." Gathering all his strength, he somehow managed to do one weak pull-up. That was the beginning of his harsh training. At first, he would collapse after just a few push-ups. His punches and kicks had no power. But under Duhan's strict guidance, he trained every single day without fail. Slowly, his punches became stronger. His legs gained power. Duhan encouraged him to eat more, as food was also part of training. In the beginning, other prisoners laughed at him, but soon his muscles began to grow. His strength increased noticeably. Now, training also included getting hit. Every punch and every fall became a lesson. Gradually, the weak and frightened Seo-chan began turning into a fighter. He even trained at night. After throwing 1,000 punches, he turned around in exhaustion and saw Duhan asleep. "I'm done," he said quietly, but Duhan had not seen anything, so he started again from the beginning. Meanwhile, one day, Seo-chan was walking on the street. A car honked at him, but he did not move. The men inside started abusing him. In response, Seo-chan smashed the car window. 2 men stepped out of the car to teach him a lesson, but he attacked them and beat them badly. The gang leader, Woo Young, noticed him and offered him a place in the gang. Seo-chan cursed at him in response. Seeing his aggression, Woo Young slapped him to control the situation. "I will use your strength for something good," he said. "I will make you even stronger." Back in prison, Seo-chan continued to study and train. He would do squats even while working. All was surprised and asked, "Are you preparing to face Wonjun?" He replied, "No, I just don't want to be weak anymore." Then came bad news. Duhan was being transferred. Prisoners over the age of 23 were sent to an adult prison. Duhan calmly said, "Work harder now, time is short." That same day, Woo Young saw Seo-chan being beaten. He stepped in to help. The gang surrounded him. But he was no longer the weak boy from before. He used only the necessary force to protect his friend. Soon, Wonjun's men called him. He went to face Wonjun himself. He apologized, saying he had only acted to protect his friend. Wonjun said nothing. He suddenly threw a punch. Seo-chan dodged and tried to counter. Wonjun was extremely powerful. His punches felt like heavy hammers. He knocked Seo-chan to the ground. But Seo-chan did not give up. He stood back up and kept fighting. A kick to the head failed to stop Wonjun. Wonjun continued attacking and landed strong blows on his face. Everyone thought Seo-chan was finished, but he stood up again. He took another hit and then delivered a powerful headbutt. Wonjun staggered and fell. Seo-chan followed up with a series of punches. All the pain he had suffered came rushing back in that moment. Just then, Duhan arrived. His eyes seemed to say, "Do not follow my path." Meanwhile, Seo-chan had become a ruthless mercenary. He was now working as Won Young's right-hand man. Seo-chan had defeated Wonjun, but he did not stop there. Under Duhan's guidance, he continued to grow stronger. He kept training without rest. One day, he was given a proper meal and a chance to spar with Duhan, but he held back his strength. Duhan became angry and said, "Use your full strength. Fight me properly or you will lose." In the next round, Seo-chan's fist stopped just inches from Duhan's face. Duhan said, "Do not hesitate. The moment you think you are winning and lower your guard, you will lose. Do you understand? This is our last session." Duhan was now leaving for an adult prison. He said, "Your greatest strength is yourself. You can endure anything." Then he added, "Do you know about sharks? They do not have air sacs to float. If they stop moving, they die. You must live like a shark. shark. Never stop. Their farewell had no hugs and no tears, just a small smile, but it left a deep emptiness in Seo-chan's heart. Even without Duhan, Seo-chan continued training every day. He pushed himself harder with each passing day, like a small shark learning to survive. A recently released prisoner began working under him. He proudly claimed that Duhan had turned Seo-chan into a shark. Now, Seo-chan's face carried a quiet and mysterious calm. He simply smiled and gestured for him to continue. Back in prison, before he could fully process Duhan's departure, a new challenge appeared. Seo-chan was challenged to a fight. The wager was simple. The loser would serve the rest of his sentence under the winner. Seo-hun did not care about his own situation. He agreed to the fight on one condition. San-young had to stop harassing weaker inmates. San-young refused and gave him a warning kick. When Woo-sol returned to his old cell block, he met Song-hyo, who had just come back from solitary confinement. "You're trying to take my place," Song-hyo challenged him. Woo-sol calmly replied, "I'm not interested." Hearing this, Song-hyo was shocked. "But I heard you're obsessed with fighting," he said under his breath. 5 days passed quickly. The fight between Woo-sol and San-young was about to happen. The atmosphere in the prison became tense. Meanwhile, Seo-chan came to meet Woo-sol to threaten him. He broke one of his companion's fingers like it was nothing. "You're training, right?" he said mockingly. But this time Woo-sol was not afraid. He did not flinch or look away. San-young realized that fear would not work on him anymore, so he began provoking Song-hyo instead. Unexpectedly, Song-hyo responded calmly. "What's the point of fighting all the time? Even if someone was weak before, it doesn't mean they will stay weak forever." Before he could finish, Woo-sol arrived. His eyes showed cold determination. Without wasting a second, San-young attacked with speed. His kicks came fast and powerful, but Woo-sol caught one of his kicks and knocked him down. He jumped on him and started throwing punches. San-young fought back and knocked Woo-sol to the ground. He kicked him hard in the face. Everyone thought the fight was over, but Woo-sol stood up again, barely holding himself together. He was not the most skilled fighter, but his spirit was unbreakable. He blocked another kick and struck San-young's jaw repeatedly. San-young cried out in pain. Then Woo-sol jumped forward and locked him in a chokehold. He wrapped his legs tightly around him, leaving no chance to escape. The spectators feared he might kill him. Just then, a guard arrived and pulled them apart. Woo-sol was immediately sent to solitary confinement. Even there, he continued training, because he knew the real fight was still ahead. After this fight, the powerful inmates realized something. Woo-sol was no longer weak. He was becoming dangerous. No one wanted to provoke him anymore. Gradually, the fights inside the prison stopped. A strange peace settled over the place. People began to respect Woo-sol. Everyone had expected him to lose, but he had fought back and proved himself. "You're truly strong," others admitted. Even Woo-sol and Won-jun began to get along, bonded by the hardships they had faced. Because of his good behavior, Woo-sol was granted early release. Before leaving, he asked the warden for permission to visit the training ground where he had trained with Duhan. He went there quietly, thanked his mentor in his heart, and remembered those unforgettable days. Holding his old school uniform, he prepared to leave his past behind. But just as he stepped out, his old enemy, Seo-chan, appeared in front of him. The long-awaited showdown finally began. From the very start, he was hitting Seol like a punching bag. Seo-chan was no longer just a school bully. He had become an experienced street fighter. He kept attacking while taunting Seol. He reminded him of the insults toward his mother and how she had begged for mercy. When Seol finally landed a punch, Seo-chan was shocked. Seol followed up with punches and knees, and then threw a powerful blow. As he fell, he remembered Duhan's words. "A shark never stops." His fighting spirit returned. He stood up and countered. Then he delivered a precise strike, a self-defense move taught by Duhan. It hit Seo-chan directly in his left eye. Seo-chan roared in anger and knocked him down again. Both of them were now completely exhausted. It turned into a battle of endurance. Seo-chan's aggression against Seol's determination. In the end, Seo-chan could not continue. He finally gave up. Seol quietly walked away. Seo-chan was left behind, burning with the pain of defeat. After recovering, Seol's first step was to visit Duhan in prison. Duhan was happy to see him, but Seol had a question. "Have you ever really seen a shark?" Duhan replied, "Yes, on TV." Seol said, "I went to an aquarium to see them. You told me sharks never stop moving even in their sleep, but I saw them resting. It felt strange." Duhan was surprised by this.